any player in the league maybe you would think would be less affected by an emotional loss than Tim Duncan? Duncan's just going to show up.
I'd be hard pressed to think of one. I'd be hard pressed to think of one. He's pretty, stoic. Is probably the best way to just describe him. Their team in general. If this was another team, you would think that last night may have more of an effect, but they're pretty stoic. They don't get too high, too low. Really, the only one that really shows outward emotions is Pop, towards referees and towards the situation. They're a pretty stoic group.
Shane, you pour over the numbers all the time, but going into a Game 7 in a short series, sample sizes, how often do you have to balance, okay, this is just too small of a sample size to really go on that, or do you actually pay attention to the numbers in the series?
In terms of Game 7 stats?
No, well, not Game 7 stats, but just trends in the series and having to find that edge to get an advantage.
I rely on the body of work more than just the series. A player is who he is, especially game 100, 110 of the series or the season. And so, despite of how they've played during the series, they're going to regress to where they are usually.
And it seems like the coaches are always adjusting so often that it's hard to.
Yeah, and that's coaching, I guess. If I was a coach, I would adjust accordingly, I guess, too. But there's a fine line between tinkering and making adjustments, which I don't know the answer to. That's why those guys get paid a lot of money, and I'm just the guy who gets to entertain you fine ladies and gentlemen in the media.
How would you? What have you doing a great job from LeBron in the Game 7 with a small amount of things on the line?
You expect LeBron to be LeBron. He'll be loose tomorrow. He'll be usually in shoot around. He does some dunks that win any dunk contest. They were televised, and that's his way of saying, "Okay, I'm ready to go." He's going to come here, he's going to listen to his music, and he's going to do what LeBron does. There's one guy we don't have to worry about is LeBron.
How is it possible that the guy that absolutely everything has been said about most of it bad somehow finds a way to not listen to what he most of the time?
Well, he's a different being. He's grown up with it. I guess if you were dealing with this for going on 15 years, you figure a way to block it out. It's foreign to all of us. We don't have to deal with it, but he's going to deal with this since he's been 14, 15 years old. So I think you just figure it out for a while.
So last game it seemed like you stayed home, the Heat stayed home on the shooters more, but maybe that opened up the middle, perhaps different choices were made in earlier games. Now when Coach Spoelstra was asked about the classic pick your poison question, he denied the premise. He says you don't have to, but is that more, him saying that, is that more aspirational maybe to inspire you, or can you really do both?
Yes, you can. It takes amazing effort, but it's not easy to take away the paint and also close down on shooters. It takes amazing effort, it takes amazing discipline, and it's tiring. And so if we want to win this game, that's what we have to do.
So their shooters being open early games, that was, you would say, more on not strategic, but execution?
We're not sharp in our defensive principles, correct.
What did you guys do differently on Manu from Game 5 to Game 6?
I think in general our pressure was better. We didn't do anything schematically different. I just thought we were more accurate.
The numbers indicate that LeBron has had more success in the series, but Wade has not been in the game. Can you give a reason for that? Is that sort of circumstantial, or is there something?
I think there's also a stat that LeBron plays better without a headband too. So, sort of is what it is. You're going to have better lineups. You're going to have lesser lineups. If you look at the 2 and 3 man pairings of those two and pair with Chris during the regular season, it's 1 or 2 or 3 in the league, and so that's too small of a sample size to get our panties in a bunch about.
Shane, from a development standpoint, how big does your faith play as far as a role in your preparing for games like Game 7?
Yeah. Well, I'm grateful for many things, but mostly just opportunities. Um, you know, for me personally, I think God has bigger things to worry about than if I win an NBA championship or not.
Right.
But I mean, it doesn't mean I can't be grateful for just the opportunity, and the opportunity to wake up every day and to be healthy, be surrounded by loved ones, and yes, to play for an NBA championship. And so I think it gives me a little bit of perspective.
And talking about the rate